Welcome to FCC Supporters Square. For fans, by fans, and about fans. Here are your hosts, Mark Subin and Matt Warman. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to FCC Supporters Square. I'm your host, Matt Warman. Mark Suffin is on his way once his PC decides to PCify himself. It'll show up, and then he will show up. But we do have a guest this week, as promised. I said we would have a guest this week. We have yet another capo. We should probably change our name to FCC Capo Square. But it's Andrew McCormick. Say hi.
Hello, hello. How you doing?
Well, I am actually not where I'm usually at. Uh, but everything's going well. So I think the first order of business would be to talk about last night. Tell us what happened last night for you.
Well, for me, last night, found an excuse to get out of the office a little early, naturally. Uh, Made my way down to the pitch. Obviously not our normal spot. It's no Tafts, but when you get all the midweek supporters there, it's a great time. Everyone was getting along. Got to watch, Arsenal get their butts whooped before we headed on out. And
Nothing like an Arsenal loss for me as a Man U fan.
yeah, but yeah, so yeah, we were down at the pitch, made our way across the street, one of the shorter marches of my time with FCC, but no, it was a good time. And then of course, getting in there and cheering on the boys, taking down Louisville, just like old times.
Well, look who decided to show up, Mr. Suppin himself, Mr. Wonderful. Can we hear you in audio, or I don't hear your audio yet?
No.
Oh, there you are. Say something. Oh, nope. We've got
Maybe.
so for those who are listening on audio, we have video and intermittent audio from Mark. He's working it out, but he is here.
Yep. Good to see you guys. Hopefully
there it is. Yeah, it's hit and miss. This is not going to be our greatest recording in the world. I'm on an unstable connection in Connecticut, and Andrew has probably got the best of all of us. So we were just talking about last night. So did anybody, the hot question I'm sure everybody was asking is, did anybody oi at the pitch?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, of course.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
I know Mark would have my back.
Had your back. We also made sure that there was an appropriate chant for them at the pitch as well.
Well, thank you. So how was it?
Match was fine. Bailey was packed, absolutely packed. So that was very nice to see. Capos were strong, drums were strong. It resonated all over TQL because we were basically we had the same amount of people in the Bailey as there was outside the Bailey.
So you rocked it, as always. So yeah, you kept those Lou City fans in check and under wraps.
Well, we allowed them to exist.
The "Who are you" chant had to have occurred. Did anybody start the "Who are you" chant?
I don't know if I heard that one or not. I heard,
Who are you? Who are you? Who
I don't think
are you?
anyone got around to that one. There were some folks that, were all in on, even though it's a little dated at the time, the Louisville plays on a baseball field,
Yes, I still love that one. I heard, I did not get to see because I was traveling, but I had heard that both streamers and inflatable wavy arm guy made their appearances in the Bailey. Is that correct?
That is correct. Yeah, I was down on the capo stand with the wavy inflatable tube man. So He was a great dancing partner when we were doing Sha La La. So
Oh, nice. So yes, we had a final score was 1-0. I heard we had several good chances. I heard Louisville had several good chances as well, but Khan made some good saves. Generally speaking, how did the second tier heavily rotated team look?
Good.
Andrew.
oh, sorry. I'm only catching little bits and pieces of it. I think something might be a little wrong with my connection. What'd you say?
I said, how did the team itself look last night? It was heavily rotated, a lot of
Oh
two
yeah.
players. I heard
hmm
Steven Jimenez looked good.
Yeah, I mean, from
So
what I
who
saw,
stood out?
I thought they looked. I mean, just from what I was seeing, I thought they looked, really well. Obviously held their own against Louisville. I've not had the chance to go back and rewatch the game or the highlights yet. 'Cause when you got your back turned for the majority of it, then that's usually what I've got to do afterwards. But no, yeah, I thought they looked great. I mean, Jimenez for a 15-year-old kid making his first run at it, and I believe is that his first time at TQL Stadium, I would think. But I mean, he held his own very well. It's good to see. It's good to be in a place now where we've got that kind of depth and issue that we hadn't had before. That with all these guys that are gearing up to go to Europe or where have you, you've actually got these guys in the wings who can potentially step up and handle their own.
I see. I see, Mark. You've changed your background. You're kind of stuck in there. If you're watching it, if in audio, he is part of KKD. So, what did you think about it last night? I think he's frozen. Oh no, he's
Kind of
frozen. He's
kind of hung
he's
up.
smiling. There he is. There he is. Oh, we're having problems
Well, I thought
with you.
everything was,
Yeah, in
yeah.
and out, in and
It's
out.
my connection, and
It's the quality, like I said,
just
it's the
dropped.
quality you've come to expect from this show.
Sorry.
It's step in whenever you can. Just make sure that you're responsive to your words, Mark. So, well, good. Yeah, he's going to try to. Mark has stepped out, and he'll try to step back in and hopefully fix his connection. So that's good. I heard that he made a really good slip pass to Ordonez, who just didn't quite hit it hard enough early, like 15 minutes in. So um, while Mark is doing that, I've got a couple of questions for you. So as a capo, you have your back turned to the crowd, turned towards the crowd against, you do not see the action. So how do you keep an eye on things as you're trying to do your capo duties, making sure other people are chanting and singing?
Yeah. So and I mean, of course, I'm new to it as of this year, so it's a work in progress. But I mean, pretty much it's just you you learn to get a feel for the crowd. I mean, normally if I'm down on the stand, my back is turned towards the pitch, so I'm looking up, and you just kind of you learn how to get a feel for what the crowd's doing. There's times where they just need someone to kind of remind them of what the words to a chant might be, or there's times where you need to maybe you need to keep your voice a little lower and enunciate so people can hear it. There's times where the boys are right in front of the Bailey, and you just have to get really freaking loud even if they can't understand what in the world you're saying. You just let everyone know now's the time to get loud. And aside from that, you just I keep my eyes on obviously the big jumbo board they've got above the Bailey. There's plenty of opportunities to if you see them running towards you, then flip around real quick and keep an eye on it. But it's well worth it though. It's well worth it if you do have to go back and catch some of the highlights after the fact.
Got you. So have you ever been hit with a soccer ball?
I've not yet. I've had a couple of close calls, but I've not been plunked just yet.
Because I figure that's one of the biggest dangers. Other than having the jumbotron, you probably don't get to see much of the game, except for whatever the crowd is trying to give you spent fluids to go on. So that's what I'm hearing, right?
Beg your pardon. Sorry, I was losing you for a second.
Right. We're all having fun connections problems, but so with your back turned, other than the crowd noise, you don't really get to watch the game. You're basically just telling the people to
Right.
do the chants.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, and that's I mean, you still get to experience it just in a different way. And it's I mean, it's not for everyone, obviously. We pay for our tickets, go in and pretty much turn our backs to the game, but we still experience it. And that's, through the crowd. I mean, that's its own rewarding experience. You take in what's going on kind of based on how the crowd's doing, and you look around, see what the team's doing, use that for feedback on how you may need to you know help push the crowd in the right direction. And I mean, like I said, they do have the giant jumbotron, so I tend to keep an eye on that. And if it looks like you might be at risk of getting plunked with a ball, then maybe flip around for a few seconds and keep an eye on it.
It sounds like an interesting deal. Like you said, not for everyone. So are you always on the stand, or sometimes are you in the crowd?
It's rotation normally. Yeah, they we rotate through different spots. You've got the two capo stands down by the net, a couple of spots on the wings down on the actual field itself, and then some folks just mingle throughout the kind of the middle of the crowd, and tend to bounce back and forth between those depending on the week.
Got you. So, yeah, I got the honor to drum during an FCC2 game, and I know that for the drummers, I was like, oh, this is a lot of fun. I can't wait to do this. It's an FCC2 game. I mean, I don't really remember the score. I remember mostly just focusing on making sure I got the beats right. It was a lot of fun. I wouldn't exchange that experience for anything, but most of the time I'm focused on what the other drummers are doing to make sure that I've got the right beats, as
Yeah,
opposed to the ins and outs of the game. So it's it's different if you're in midfield versus the Bailey, and it's different if you're a capo or a night role, versus just being in the regular Bailey, because uh, beverages are not really happening until maybe halftime or after the game or before the game. But you really have to focus on your job. So do
yeah.
you feel like it's more like a job than just a thing?
Uh, it's uh, it's a job, but it's certainly a lot more exciting than my 9 to 5 banking job. So, but it's yeah, I mean, it's a job in its own right, but it's not terribly different from what I would do if I were just watching. Because even outside of the night role that I am in now, I mean, always 90 minutes plus, hardly stop to take a drink to pause the chanting. Now it's just I'm doing that facing the other way.
Gotcha. So that sounds like fun. So, how did you get involved with FC Cincinnati? How did you become a fan? How did you get involved? No, your supporter group is the Brigade. I kind of know that. um, I kind of know that.
Yeah, kind of.
So how did you get involved with the Brigade and an FCC fan and become a capo?
Yeah. So I started following FCC back in 2017 during the Open Cup run, taking on the Fire and the Crew and all that. Uh, Prior to that, I really never had any interest in professional, soccer. Uh, but that really got me into it. Some people at work were excited about it, so I turned it on that night when they were playing the Crew. and was instantly hooked. I was like, okay, that looks like a great time, and made it to a couple of matches, end of that year. Went to nearly every, home match the final year in USL. And by 2020, 2021, whichever season we had that wasn't interrupted, that's when, I had been going to these matches, was, familiar from a distance with the supporter groups, and, decided I wanted to get more involved. It was something I, really enjoyed. It just sucked that it was pretty much, 90 minutes plus however long it took me to pregame, and then it's over for a week, 2 weeks, whatever. So, started seeking out, a supporter group, and, hung around a few different places, ended up, hanging out at the, taps with the brigade, and, loved the atmosphere, and, the people aren't half bad. And, from there, just, keep getting more involved. It's just something I enjoy. It's, probably at this point you know my primary focus through the week is just like getting to the next FCC event that I can do.
Right? It does. It kind of gets into your blood. That's why we started this show, is it gives us an opportunity to talk to people like you, to find out where did your fandom come from, and were you weren't really a big soccer fan before joining?
No, not really. I mean, I was all in on FCC from like 2018 on. The first time I went in the Bailey, and I was like, okay, I gotta do this every time it happens. And but I mean, prior to that, I really had never had much interest in it. I played some up through freshman year of high school, but other than that, yeah, FCC was kind of my first experience. I'm still at the point, I was saying yesterday, it's still kind of a chore for me to try to get into some of these other leagues. Maybe I'm a fake, soccer fan, if you will, but I can't get into some of these other foreign leagues, EPL, Bundesliga, whatever. But FCC, man, that's my drug right there.
And I think that's part of where fans are, right? There's no wrong way to fan. I've been saying that for a long time. There's no wrong way to fan. If you want to pick a team in every top league and follow them, that's fine. If you just want to support your local group, whether it's a USL championship, MLS, it doesn't really matter, because that's really what you are most focused on, is your local team. And I think that's where the joy really comes from, is to turn on the TV. I remember that's the biggest joy I had when we got announced for MLS was, oh, we could get Pulisic, or we could get this name or that name,
Yeah.
right? Obviously not coming to this league at the moment, but I've seen Wayne Rooney like live. I never thought I'd ever get a chance to, if FC Cincinnati was still in the USL, the only way we would see Wayne Rooney if he was on a tour, and he probably wouldn't play more than 5 minutes on some lame friendly. Now I got to see him play full tilt and actually crush us, but I did get to see him, and it was very exciting. And that's the excitement of your local team, is you get to see people from other parts of the world.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
How we
that's
doing, Mark? Mark, how's
What's that?
how's your connection? How's your connection?
It's still waning a little bit, but hopefully you can hear me. I would
I
say,
can. So do you have any?
uh,
Go ahead.
well, I would say to see Wayne Rooney, Zlatan Ibrahimovic, and Bastian Schweinsteiger in a matter of 2 or 3 years, that's the holy grail for me. Now, obviously, some of the older players, but like Drogba and a few others, but to see those three, what an amazing time right here in Cincinnati.
And we couldn't see that in 2016 or 2017. You'd have to go to Columbus if you had any kind of opportunity to see anything like that, and usually it was a friendly, and so uh So let's talk about we talked about that. Let's talk about this coming Saturday. I saw on Apple Plus say it was East Beast Battle. We are 20 points, they are 20 points. Technically, we're in second place by goal differential. Hopefully that doesn't come down to the last week of the season. This is the time for our bad takes, Andrew. So bad takes are, what do you think it's going to happen on Saturday?
On Saturday. So is this specifically my bad take or what I think might actually
Yes,
happen? Well, my bad take is
both,
and
both.
hopefully it's proven to be the right take. It may still be a bad take right now, but we faced the Revs what 4, 5, 6 times, something like that. And we've only pulled one win out that I can remember from that first year. And obviously, it's last year they kicked us out of the U.S. Open. So I think FCC with their how they're doing this year, where we expect them to be by the end of the year. I mean, we thought that Philly was going to be the big test of where we are, but it looks like at this point it might be New England, and I think that my bad take would be we go in and we steal three right out of their hands from their own home stadium. I think I think the boys are about due to knock down New England a notch.
My bad take is we've got Kubo back on reserve. I'm not sure if he got in late or not. I think he did. So he is officially back. Obi will be rested. Lucho came in for a little bit last night, but he's rested. We'll have Brenner for how much I don't know, but that's what I had heard is that they want him to play some minutes here before leaving. So I think we're going to be close to full strength with that. Um, the smart money is 1-0. I just don't know if it's us or New England, but I'm going to say 1-0 New England. That's my bad take. Mark.
Well, if we get Brenner this Saturday, I think it provides an extra incentive because Brenner's obviously looking to, play up to the bell, and get all the exposure he can before he leaves. So I think, even if he plays just a little while, maybe not start, but gets 20, 30 minutes. My bad take is he can get a brace and really set his career up for that next step. So and I can see Brandon following on the heel of his goal he just got. He can continue that and start putting together a scoring streak. So that's what I'm looking forward for him. So bad take, maybe 3-0.
3-0.
3-0. I like that.
Hey, it's bad, so let's go.
3 points, 3-0. I like that. One point each to take home. I mean, even if we get a draw out of this and we end up in second place, I think it shows. Honestly, we played so many good games already. Nobody can really say that we're a fluke. We've beaten Seattle. We've beaten Philadelphia. The only loss was a weird night in St. Louis, which we've already covered a lot on this show.
What was that? What match was that? I forget.
Yeah, I heard something like that. I blacked out for like 90 minutes a couple of weeks ago. Maybe I was dreaming that. I don't know. But we haven't beaten cupcakes. We haven't had the cupcakes yet. Our cupcake part of the season hasn't really started yet. I think after the Revs, it starts. We get not look. There's no real cupcakes in this league. But if you're looking at DC United, if you're looking at Montreal, you're looking at the lower part of the table. We haven't played those teams yet, so I think this is a bigger test for New England than it is for Cincinnati, and we play pretty well on the road as well.
Hmm. Yeah, I agree with that. That's it's an exciting place to be in as a fan of FCC. I mean, because you're right. Yeah, that's allegedly, we've faced some of our biggest challenges so far this year, and that leads you to think there's big things yet to come because we've done pretty well so far.
Mark,
Sir,
besides the 3-0, where do you see, besides it looks like Brenner will shine if he plays, he'll shine. Are you excited to have Yuya Kubo back?
well, Kuba played sparingly and played sparingly. I didn't see the flash or the zip that I didn't expect it either. But he came in, provided some quality minutes, didn't make any mistakes, but you just didn't see the snap of his game that we've come to know. So it's going to take a little bit. If he comes in to this match on Saturday, I'm happy, but I'm not expecting it. We just need a defensive, wall this Saturday because that's going to be our catalyst for it. The midfield continues to give us results, and they just came right in and did the job against Louisville last night. It made a pretty mediocre midfield an amazing midfield. It just changed immediately. So you see exactly what we are. We just need to put that together and come out with a strong result on Saturday. I'm hoping Mascara's ready, Miazga, and Barrial. I mean, he's been featured as one of the top players in MLS as far as statistics. So he's putting in the work. We just need to see it shine. And that wonderful assist he did last night, amazing. That's Barrial that I want to see.
So last question of the night. We did see some of the kids. Obviously, we talked a little bit about them, but overall impression. My thought about Jimenez is that he's 15, maybe 16 this year. I think if we can keep him one more year in FCC2, maybe come in at 16, 17, get him some sparing minutes. I think he's the future. I think he's going to be absolutely electric in like 3 years. You just don't want to. There's so many 13 and 14 and 15-year-olds that have joined this league and have burned out by 18 because that's a lot of pressure for a kid. But other than that, other than the pressure part, how did the Ordonez look? How did some of the other the people that we don't see unless we go to FCC2 games? Your overall impression on where FC Cincinnati looks in like 2 to 3 years? We'll start with you, Andrew.
Yeah. Oh, and so I mean, 2 to 3 years. I mean, it's hard not to be optimistic. I mean, like I said, I've not had the chance to go back and really watch how they did last night like I would like to. But I mean, the result clearly says something, and there's a lot of reason to be excited. I mean, like you said, Jimenez. I mean, that's a kid that, I mean, he's out there putting it to guys that are 10 years older than him. Where's he going to be when he's 18? Ordonez, I mean, he comes away with the goal. He's had some looks with the main team. You know, you just look at the transformation that some of these guys are able to make, over a year, 2 years. I mean, guys who we love right now, who do we think Brandon Vasquez was, 3 years ago? I mean, there's a lot of reason to be excited, especially in the hands of the new regime, Albright and Noonan. They know how to pick them, and it's going to be real exciting to see what they do. Building it from the ground up with the youth.
Mark, you get the last word.
Fair enough. The youth movement is a wonderful beginning for us. Certainly, clubs like the Union are just locked in to bringing in young talent, making them world-class players, and selling them for millions upon millions of dollars. So that's the gold standard we want to have here in Cincinnati. And obviously, with some of our picks that we took in the first super draft, players like Amaya, Lunt, it didn't go well for us, and we took our lumps because of it. Frankie, probably a very good player coming out of college, but it just was not put in the right environment for him to thrive. So now we have the environment that will set these youngsters up for success. And I absolutely believe the Morenos, the Kimis. I want to see Marshall come through, and a few of the others, because our FCC two, we're still building, but it's building strongly. So it's just going to take a little bit more time. We're just getting off the ground on our academy, and what we're seeing for the future. But when you see Jimenez out there, not breaking, he's certainly bent a few times, but didn't break. And he's 15. I couldn't even imagine what I was doing at 15. That was not playing in a 28,000 seat stadium was way out of my thought. So kudos to him that he held his own. He just needs more experience, more time out, on the pitch in big situations. So the future is bright.
The future is definitely bright here, and it's also bright here in FCC Supporter Square. I may be called up for international chant duty next week, so it may be a solo host of Mark Supin. You know how life gets in the way of our podcast because we're not sponsored. Our tens of viewers know what we go through, but that's why you love us, is because of the struggle. So I'd like to thank Andrew. Any last words from you?
Just super excited to be with y'all for the year that's yet to come. It's I think it's going to be very, very exciting. The expectations are high. The performance seems to be matching those expectations, and it's going to lead to a lot of good times this summer. Looking forward to it.
I'm looking for a home, not road playoff participation with both of you. And I think we're well on our way. 20 points is, I think, more than what we had in a couple of seasons during the wooden spoon times. So
it's quite lean.
So, well, thank you, Andrew, for joining FCC Supporter Square. For Mark Suppman, I am Matt Warman. Enjoy the week, and we'll talk to you next time.